Go ahead. Just tell me. I'm ready to talk about what we do. If you're ready.
Yeah, let's start maybe first of all from you, because you're existing much more years than us, and you have 40,000 units there in your co-op.
Yeah.
Tell a little bit.
Just a little brief history indeed, and then I'll share my screen. I have the screen open to show you the tool or the way how we do it technically in operations, let's say. But just maybe a brief history. So our basis, our main headquarters is here in Brussels. I'm in Brussels today, and it has been in Brussels since 1998. That's where we started out, where we were founded. So the basic idea was that we saw in main artistic sectors here in Brussels that people who are working in the arts, and as you know, the arts, it's very wide. It's in the music industry, it's in the painting industry, it's in whatever. So people who were working in the arts in the late 90s were maybe talented on the job itself, let's say, but maybe a little less talented or less interested in the business side of their job, which meant that a lot of the work that they did was, to put it in a nice way, a very informal way of working. So they were working in black, let's say, or they were not having the right systems to organize their work in a proper way, let's say. So they were very good at what they did, artistically spoken, but the business side was often less well organized. So with that idea, a couple of people came together and said, okay, we have to try to find a solution to organize this a little bit better. I'm just waving to my colleagues who are passing by. So the idea was that they had to organize the business side of their work a little bit better, and that they had to find a practical solution, a hands-on solution that allowed them to declare their work, let's say, in a proper way, to pay taxes and so on the one hand, and on the other hand, to build up social rights that are linked to this tax system. So basically, it was the idea that the social security system in Belgium, as we know it. So the basic idea was indeed that we had to find solutions for people who work in the artistic sectors, to well declare their working days and have a correct way of sending invoices and so on to their clients. And on the same hand, we thought it might be an interesting idea to contribute to the social security system in Belgium, which allowed the people also to build up rights within this social security system. And so for that, on that purpose or on that idea, it's interesting to know that in Belgium, as in many other European countries, our social security system is divided in two big pillars, let's say. We have the pillar of the social security system that is more linked to people who are working as an unemployed or self-employed contract. So the independent, the social security system for the independent people. And we have the social security pillars who are linked to people who are in the employees system. And as you may know, the social security system for independent working people is cheaper, let's say, so the people don't have to contribute as much as the employers or employees, but it's less well protective. So it means that the people, for instance, in the social security system of independence, they don't have any unemployment fees, for instance, which is the case for the employee system. So we chose from the beginning that the people who work via Smart were to contribute in the social security system of the employees, which is the most expensive system, but also the most elaborative system when it comes to social protection. So that was from the beginning on a very clear mindset, let's say, so that we first of all had to find legal ways and procedures to declare working days and to organize the business side of the work, let's say, and on the second hand, that we wanted to contribute or have our people to contribute to the social security system of the employees. So those were the two main founding pillars, let's say, founding ideas that we had in the late 90s. And to make a long story a little bit shorter, during the period between 1998 and today, we had several technical experiments, let's say, which allowed us to give hands-on solutions, provide hands-on solutions for our workers. Why do I call it experiments? Because during the period of time, we had to make adjustments. We had to change our system at some point because, for instance, as I said, if you have the social security system of the employees and the social security system of the independent working people, those are two well-divided structures. And as you can see from our story, we're a little bit in between of them, because the people who are working via our system, they work in a very autonomous way. They organize their work very autonomously. They choose themselves for which clients that they want to work. They choose when they want to work, at what pace that they want to work, and so on. So it's a very autonomous way of organizing your work practically. But on the other hand, you contribute to a social security system that is the system of the employees, where normally a boss is telling you what you want to do, what you have to do, and when you have to do it, and so on. So there's this dichotomy in a nice English word. We're really in between those two systems, and so created some interesting discussions and arguments with the social security authorities here in Belgium, because at one point they said, okay, you do help your workers to contribute to a social security system of the employees. So that's one thing. But on the other hand, if you look at the practicalities of their work, they are not really categorized as an employee, let's say. They work more as an independent contractor. So there's always this difficult discussion between the social security authorities and us. And so that means that in the run of 1998 up until now, so in those 26 years, we often had to adapt our systems, the way of declaring the working days, the way of making the calculations, and so on. But that's quite technical, maybe less interesting for now today. But just so you know that it's not it's not always easy, let's say, to say and to work via Smart. We in a more euphemistic way, we say that we have a very innovative system that allows people to work with Smart. But we also have real opponents and people, for instance, in labor unions, who don't like our system and who say that we undermine the social security system. And so that there's always some discussion around our way of working, let's say, just to give you some side notes on that. You could imagine it as a triangulate relation, or a triangle relationship. On the one hand, you have the worker, who is, for instance, in the performing arts, who is a graphic designer, for instance, or the last couple of years, we have a lot of people who are working in communication, translation, and so on. So it's not only in the artistic sector, but the worker. You have the worker on the one hand. You have the people who they work for, their clients, and you have Smart. So this is more or less a triangular relationship. And in practice, what happens? It's the worker that comes to an agreement with his client or her client on a specific mission. For instance, someone is good in graphic design and knows how to lay out a brochure for his or her client, and so then they negotiate. Okay, what time is it going to take me? What other means do I have to invest in to make this assignment, and so on. And this way, they make up a price agreement. Let's say they make a calculation on what time it should take to fulfill this mission, and what's it going to cost. So all these negotiations are between the worker and their client, let's say. But then at the moment that they have reached an agreement and that they want to officialize this agreement, then they have to, normally you send an invoice. You send an invoice before the assignment or after the assignment, or in between. And this official part, let's say, this happens via Smart. So that's where Smart comes in the game, because then the worker comes in touch, gets in touch with Smart, with one of our advisors who are working here in Brussels or in our other offices that we have all over the country. They get in touch with their advisor and they say, okay, I have an agreement with this client on this specific mission. I want to send an invoice of, let's say, €1,000 to this client for this specific mission. And then it's Smart that is sending the invoice to the client. So this is a triangular relationship. The negotiations are between the worker and the client, but it's then Smart who sends the official invoice to the client and uses this invoiced amount to pay the salary of the worker. So this is a triangular relationship that we have. Smart is, let's say, in between the worker and the client, or at least it's the official way, or the way to follow to officialize the work that is agreed between the worker and the client, let's say. So Smart is sending the invoice to the client, and then the invoiced amount comes first on the account, the bank account of Smart. Smart, first of all, deducts a fixed percentage of 6.5% to cover the costs of my salary and other production costs, let's say. The cost of the tool that I'm going to show you and so on is all covered with the 6.5%. And then what is left, which is €935 in our example, what is left is used to pay the salary of the worker. That's just in case when the worker has no specific expenses, professional expenses, to perform this job. If he or she does have expenses, like for instance, they use their computer to make the graphic design, or they have to do they have to take transportation, public transport or whatever transportation to perform this assignment, or there are other costs involved. If they work together, for instance, with other people, then these are also specific professional related costs or related to this assignment. Then they have to, first of all, bring in the invoices to Smart. For instance, if they start with this 935 budget and they say, okay, I have a total of cost of, let's say, €400, then we will pay these costs with this €935. So that leaves us €535 to pay a salary in the end. And so that means that they only pay taxes on the 535. The €400 is used to pay the expenses that they have made, to perform this job, and they pay taxes on the €535. So this €535 more or less has to be divided into two. Half is for the tax authorities, and half is paid as a net salary. So this is more or less just to give you a basic idea of what the basic principles are on the operational side. Maybe I can share my screen. I am not fully familiar.
Month. It's wow, просто. Это cool system. Это вот как это перевести? Это вау. Creative Industry. У нас делают самозанятых, а решение развития креативных индустрий в этом направлении. Переведи, пожалуйста, Мансур.
So here in Russia, they did like this system, of self-employed people, but they didn't give the instruments how it could work. I mean, like with taxes, you have to make everything by yourself, and we don't have such a services like you're doing, actually.
But here, it's very important for here in our system to keep in mind that people organize their work as an independent contractor, but they are submitted to the rules of the employee system. And sometimes this creates some tensions, let's say. For instance, I'm sure that you also know the rider services of Deliveroo, which is the global company which is active also here in Belgium. And we, I think it was in 2018 that we had an experiment with them, trying to protect a little bit more the riders, because Normally, in most cases, they are independent contractors. And so that means that they take the risks of performing their job, risks in terms of the short-term risks, like when they have accidents and so on, but also the long-term risks. The fact that they don't contribute to a social security system means that they don't build up social rights like for pension and so on. So we discussed that with Deliveroo Belgium at the time, as I said in 2018, to see if our system could possibly meet the or let's say cover the risks that are now taken by the riders. But the problem there was that a lot of riders only have 1 or 2 missions, let's say, in the day. So they, if a rider gets his mission via the algorithm program of Deliveroo to deliver just 1 pizza here a couple of minutes away, that means that they only have like let's say let's take the example of 20 euros, for instance, that they earn on that time, and so this 20 euros does not allow them to declare a working day here in Belgium, because there is a minimum salary to pay and a minimum hours of work that we have to guarantee. So that means that this system of Deliveroo was not compatible with the social security system of the employees here in Belgium. Or we had to have the guarantees of Deliveroo that the riders were offered a minimum of jobs in the day, but that was something that was not compatible with the model of Deliveroo. So that was the difficulty that we had with this model. So just to show you that it's not always easy to organize the work. If you work autonomously, it's not always easy to make it compatible with the social security system of employees, because it has certain thresholds that we have to fulfill, let's say. You see a screen. I only have it in French, so just to make it a little more complicated for you guys. But I'll explain it in
explain. We will understand. Yes.
In English, but just so you know that the words are in French, and I cannot put it in English. And the second complexity is the fact that we're right now in the process of redeveloping our tools. So that means that we're sometimes we're in the old interface, sometimes we have the visual of a new interface. So this is what I'm showing here is the main tool, in fact, that is used by our workers in order to declare their work and to send invoices and so on to their clients. So we try to maximize their autonomy by saying, okay, we have developed a online tool, an online, you could almost call it a platform, where they have access to their accountability to their work, so they can send invoices from this platform to their clients. In principle, in theory, they don't need to contact us individually, personally, but in case of in case of problems, or if they have specific questions, then of course they can contact an advisor. But in theory, they are let's say completely autonomous, and they can use this online tool to manage all of their activities, let's say. So the basic idea is that they have a member login with which they can sign into this tool. And then they have 2 ways to declare working days and to send invoices to their clients. The first one is what we call here on the top, the UT 3-in-1. So that's a 3-in-1 tool. 3-in-1 comes from the fact that they, with one or with a couple of clicks, they declare working days, they send invoices to their clients, and they get their salary paid. So these are 3 principles that in fact are accumulated within one tool, which allows them to declare the working days towards the social security system, which allows them to send the invoice to their client, and which allows them to get paid for their work, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
The second tool is what we call, up until now, the tool activity, the activity tool. We're going to change the name towards the production unit, because we think that the production unit is a more comprehensive way to call it, because the activity tool always has created some ambiguity on on semantic terms, let's say. But the activity tool or the production unit is closer linked to how independent workers work. That means that they have a separate document to invoice to their client. So the invoice is encrypted in a separate way. They have a different page to set up or to declare their working days, and they have a different page to set up everything that has to do with their expenses and their production costs, let's say. So we divide the process of invoicing with the process, let's say, of declaring working days and getting their salary paid, and the process of the final accountability of their production costs. So this is what happens within the production unit or the activity tool. And the basic tool, let's say, is the 3-in-1 tool where everything happens within a couple of steps. And I'm going to try to show you how it works. So if you have a new contract or new mission to declare, you click on Nouvelle Encodage, and there you get in the old layout, let's say, the old interface, where you have to point out what type of function that you have here for this person, just to show you around. This person is a musician, so he can select his function as a musician. Other people, as I said, can work in other sectors also, like graphic design and so on. But it's important to select your function. Then you can describe the type of or you have to describe the type of your performance. So, for instance, let's say this person is performing concert on a specific date. You can add some extra details in this. And then he or she has to describe also in which country that the performance is taking place. These are all necessities for us that can allow us to declare the working days in the correct way. So the fact that the person has to indicate which function that he has or where that he has been working or will be working is something that we need to in order to declare the working days, let's say. The person also has to indicate logically the day when he or she will be working, and another specific detail of working in this employment system in Belgium, because this is really linked to the Belgian employment system, is the fact that the working days have to be declared before the people start working. So this is another specificity. You cannot antedate your working days, so it's not that today we're the 23rd of December, they cannot no longer encode work that has been happened last weekend, for instance, on the 21st and the 22nd of December. So you have to, beforehand, you have to log in and declare your working days. For instance, this person is going to play a concert on Christmas Eve, for instance, tomorrow night. So the 24th of December, then you click on next. Then he has to choose his clients. So this person already worked with 5 or 6 clients. Other people in our system work with 30, 35 clients. They can consult the whole database here via chercher or search. They can search through all the database that we have for our clients, which contains about 30,000 firms of clients here in Belgium. But let's say that this person is going to work for whatever client here. So here we determined the client, so to who we have to send the invoice. And this final page allows us to fulfill or indicate all the details that have to be that we need to set up the invoice, let's say. So the invoice, the total amount. So yeah, that's the main important detail, let's say. And so if the person clicks here on next, then we can send the invoice to the client on the one hand, and then we have enough details to declare the working days and to pay the salary to the person itself. So this is just to show you how it works for this 3-in-1. If you look at the activity tool, then we're going to switch again from the old interface to the new interface. So this is the old interface, and this is almost the new interface. So if on the old interface, sorry, on the old interface, people have first and foremost here in this section, this upper section, they have an overview of their budget, their actual budget. So the budget means it's the difference between all the invoices that have been sent on the one hand to X clients and all the money that has been used to pay salaries and to refund expenses. So the final budget, you could see it as the result, profit or loss on a profit or loss account, let's say. So this means that this person still has 34 euros within his budget, which is his profit, let's say, of the last couple of years that he has worked with Smart. If he or she wants to set up a new invoice, then he has to click on DV. DV is the French for can't find the word in English. A price offer that someone can make towards a client. So then we're going to switch again to the new interface, where this person says, okay, I want to send an invoice to this specific client. So then again, he or she gets the clients for or a list of clients for he or she that he or she can work. So I've just selected the client here in my first step. And then again, we need all the details that we have to put on the invoicing amount, the VAT amount, and so on, and a little description that has to come on the invoice. And then we can click on enregistrer or validate, let's say, which allows us again to send the invoice. So this is only one step in the process. It's the pure invoicing step, let's say. So this is again just to remind you, we're in the second tool, let's say, where we have distinguished the invoicing part of the declaration of working days and of the declaration of working costs, let's say. So this is the place where they set up the invoice towards their clients. They have a second, trying to get back, a second possibility to encode expenses if they click on Note de frais in French. So it's just a list of expenses, let's say. And then they can encode a new expense list. Again, titled, for instance, it's a person who wants to declare all the expenses that are linked to this concert that we declared, for instance, just a couple of minutes ago. And they have to specify to whom the expenses are going to be have to be paid, let's say. Just gonna move on a little bit, and so this is this is the page where they have the possibility to tell to us, to Smart, what type of expenses that they have done or that they will do in order to be able to perform this concert in this case, in this example. So, for instance, if someone has to, I don't know, has to take some public transport, for instance, within Belgium, then they have to click here on Déplacement en Belgique. So this is where they say, okay, I have, I'm going to ride with my own car towards the venue. And so on, and so then they can click on the specific dates when they are going to perform the concert. Voila, they have to explain what is going to happen. They're going to say, okay, I'm going to drive from Brussels in Belgium to Ostend, let's say. And then they can say, okay, this is, then you can see here that it's 114 kilometers from one city to another. So the city where they live to the city where they're going to perform. And then the system indicates that the maximum amount that they can be reimbursed for this expense is 49 euros. So this is also something that is linked to the employee system because it's a fixed amount per kilometer that they can be reimbursed and so on. And so that means that this person, if he clicks here on Ajouter, here in the left, he validates the reimbursement of this expense. And so in this way, they can declare a multitude of sorts of expenses, like not only the transportation costs, but also if someone has to take a hotel, for instance, or communication costs, phone bills, and so on. These are all types of costs that are linked to the profession that can be reimbursed.
I mean, these musicians, these artists,
Yeah.
who are they for the platform? Are you creating sort of virtual cooperative with them, or what it is?
We are not a virtual cooperative, we're a real cooperative. So that means
they are the members of the cooperative.
Exactly. In order to be able, if they want to have access to these functions, to these tools, to declare their working days and to send invoices and so on, they have to become a member of the cooperative.
Yeah.
So it's the cooperative, as you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, we have set up a cooperative only since 2016. Because before we were what we call an NGO, so a not-for-profit organization. But that's one of the discussions that we had with the tax authorities here in Belgium. They no longer allowed us to work via a not-for-profit system. They said you have to become a commercial system. And the most appropriate commercial system for us was the cooperative system.
Yeah.
And so we launched the cooperative system here in 2016 here in Belgium. And we said, okay, if you want to have access to these tools to declare your working days, then you have to become a member of the cooperative. And so that means that the cooperative is, if you look at the legal structure of Smart here in Belgium, we have a multitude of legal entities for technical reasons, and all these entities are managed by the cooperative. So in fact, the worker becomes a member of the cooperative. So the governance structure is that the worker is a member of the cooperative. He's a co-owner of the cooperative with 40,000 other people. This, on the one hand, gives him or her access to the tools, but it allows also to, via the cooperative, to control all these technical entities, technical legal entities that are managed by the cooperatives. It's a little bit a complex system, but you really have to see the cooperative as an umbrella organization that in reality manages all these technical entities that develop the tools that we just saw. And so in this way, the member of the cooperative has access to these tools, but can also, via the General Assembly and other working groups and so on, can also influence the way these tools work, what functions that they have, and so on. So the cooperative need the umbrella structure that allows this to do.
Как зонтик, короче, кооператив используется. С 2016 года они из НКО перешли
Я
в
все понял,
кооперативную.
Манс,
Ага.
всё супер, это вау. И это вау.
But this is really linked to the Belgian system. For instance, we tried to install this also in the Netherlands, but the cooperative in the Netherlands is more seen as a member organization and less seen as a commercial organization. Here in Belgium, it's really seen as a classical commercial firm with different specificities and with different values and so on, and different governance structure than a capitalist firm, let's say. But in the Netherlands, for instance, it's a whole other system, like in France, like in Spain. So this is really linked to the Belgian law on enterprises. But this is the way that we developed it here in Belgium.
Nice.
Знаешь, что это, Мансур? Это новая форма профсоюза. Переведи как-нибудь.
It's like a trade union, new form of trade union, actually.
Explains also the conflict that we have with trade unions, but because trade unions, they felt criticized, they felt put aside by our system. We don't have the ambition to take over the role of the trade unions, but in reality, we see that the workers, if they have questions on their social status or on whatever, they first knock on our door and they no longer go consulting the trade union. So that it creates also a little bit tensions with the trade unions.
Okay, interesting. It's very interesting.
Это надо переварить, скажи. Это надо сейчас.
We have to download all this for the brain. My question is, are you doing some things as a unit that you're making as a Smart to make a connections between the people, to make a project between different artists, I don't know, some festivals or whatever, to make it like an organization or like organization?
It's a very interesting question, because I just I'm working on a paper just now. I was trying to finish it before Christmas holidays, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. But I'm working on a paper which questions a little bit this idea, because we do have very much potential. We have 40,000 people here in Belgium.
Yeah.
Which is quite a small country, specifically if you compare it to the Russian territory. It's quite a small country. So you could say that we have a lot of potential to bring together these 40,000 people. But, and that's the difficulty in practice, in reality, we see that it's not that easy to bring them together. We have here, as I said, our main office is here in Brussels. So we have here the opportunity to offer to our members who are based in Brussels to offer co-working spaces, to offer workshops, educational programs, and so on. But it's quite difficult to offer this also to people who are living a little bit further away. And we see that it's quite complicated to activate these people and to bring them to Brussels, or to bring our supplementary services to them in the suburbs, let's say, to bring these services of education and so on to Ghent, to Antwerp, to other cities and so on. So it's quite, yeah, I can't say it differently, but it's quite complicated to work on this sense of community. So it is in our ambition, let's say, to do so. But we see that it takes a lot of effort, and so that's the first thing. It takes a lot of effort. But the second thing is also, not everyone is seeking for this. Not everyone
that's for sure.
Is a member of the
but some people are really want it. I'm very sure it's not for everybody, but someone I'm really looking for, because cooperative is anyway between the organization and the community, something like a society anyway. And
exactly. But that was one of the important things that I found out in my paper. I always had this maybe naive idea that people want to belong to a community and want to be reinforced by a community. But I've already found out that, some people are just looking for a good service. That's it.
So
they don't they don't have the ambition themselves to come to the General Assembly, or to participate in meetings or whatever. So we really have to respect, I think, the opinion and the sense of in which the idea that people have of this cooperative movement. So for some, it's just a provider of services, and for others it goes a little bit further, and they really want to get involved.
So you are not making such as, I don't know, Smart Festival once a year, like a big musician, artist event with exhibitions where everybody can come. Are you doing some things like that or not?
We do have small activities, and we have one bigger activity the day of our General Assembly. So we try to make our General Assembly, which is normally quite a dull meeting, but we try to make it as attractive as possible by organizing workshops, and also have here in our main headquarters have some kind of festival atmosphere, let's say, with concerts indeed. In order, as I said, to try to lower the thresholds for people to feel welcome and to come participate in the cooperative. But then again, we see that every year it's mostly the Brussels-based people who are coming to here, and it's more complicated to get people from Ghent or from Bruges or from Liège or whatever to bring them to Brussels here. But we do have once a year we do have this specific event indeed for all our members.
Nice. So Thomas. In general, we understood what you're doing. It's very interesting. So maybe it will be interesting. We will show a little bit what we're doing, and from what step we are moving, because we're a young organization, but of course not like you, 25 years. My congratulations, especially that you're almost 10 years now in cooperative way. So, Serеж, что, может, начнем? Покажем чуть-чуть, что мы делаем. And we'll tell you what challenges we have, starting this story, historically, cooperatives are from Russia. Soviet Union was like a cooperative country. Like when it was a Stalin, more than 70% of all the goods that were created by the cooperative. In Russian, they have the special word for the cooperative, АРТЕЛь. АРТЕЛь, you see, it's the name of our organization, АРТЕЛЬ.ОНЛАЙН. So that is why we have such a name. So here is two guys who are co-founders of this story. Make a planet great again, build a team, join the game, It's like our joke, because when you will say one country, it's not interesting. I mean, and the idea is that this is the big starship where the team doesn't understand that we are a team, and our point is just to make the instruments to understand this and to work together. So it's like an environment of cooperative interaction of communities, and we are saying that we are collective entrepreneurship movement, something like that. And we have academy also, Cooperative Academy, Good for Good, the name of it, Sergey and me. Okay, next.
Okay.
So it's like what challenges we have here, It's just people don't have these horizons of entrepreneurs. They have like 1 year, maximum 2 years. So, but if you want to be a serious guy, you have to move it a little bit more. So like for 30, 50 years. Yeah. And if you will move it, you have to change the methods as you're working. You have not to be alone, So, and also another challenge is just like infrastructure projects where you need a lot of participants, more than 20, it's already a problem. So, and we have this pain of communities, that they have a projects, and when they have subsidiary liability, it's started tensions, conflicts, when the money appear in community, they start doing business, how to manage this. And also big challenge to us as the Russia, we are very atomized society nowadays, and the cooperation officially took only like less than 2% of economy, and in reality less. So this is our challenges. So what were solutions, what we're doing? So it's like first of all, that it's not like a speed running story, it's a long distance story, that is why we have to prepare for the long distance. And the second position is that this transformation from individualism concessions to collective entrepreneurship is a really hard story, especially that our country doesn't have this tradition, of even individualistic entrepreneurship, because it was 70 years of Soviet Union, and it was like collective, but anyway, it was a sort of administrative way of making the things. It was not democracy, yeah. So also what we are trying to do, this like micro communities in a new technological order, and we are trying to give them these instruments. So number 4, it's like to prepare people for starting this stuff. Sometimes people doesn't understand that they could do by this way, like a self-organizing, self-financing, self-government, and self-education, in a project. They start to change their mind, first of all. And of course, it's also working with the children and the youth for whom this could be like a natural story, like we are and that is why we're working with the children a lot, Cooperative Academy. Okay, Serёж, дальше. And what sort of technologies we are using? So in the base of that, we want to make the communities, maybe it will be a sort of villages or small cities that are linked to each other. And so it's where I say that no policies with a new way of living. Yeah, and also it's like a conflict-free interaction. We have this word trilogue, not dialogue, but trilogue. It's like a sort of how we are use our, walking in the circles. This is like the third thing is that we're working with this story of Silvio Gesell. It's Austrian guy who lived in Argentina and who created, you know, this system, natural economical order. He said that, guys, we have to make the two things. And he had like a book, very interesting book. You can order it. I'm sure that you can order it in the election. It's a natural economical order. So he made a system where they money lose their capital. You know, it couldn't be like debts in the banks. You know, they use only money as the equivalent and to change, and they made it like local money for the groups. And we are we had more than 10 years ago, we made such an experiment in our small village in a farm, like 200 people lived in this system more than 2 years. And the thing is, the best thing is, you know, that's the stuff in the system are running very fast. Money is running, you know, when you're, Giselle, he said that, guys, everything in nature are ruined, you know, everything become older, except only one thing, it's money. Money it's growing, it's become bigger, you know, when you are putting for the bank. It's not natural. If you will check, he said, so if we're saying that the money is the blood of economy, it have to run, but the money is also capital. We have to grab it together, you know, it's like a protagonist of it's a conflict. So, and he promote the system of this new type of economy, you know, where you are making capital only in goods and services and talents of the people, not in money, something like that. And that is why we have like a digital systems. Everybody has a computer now here. We can do that. And we will show how we manage this. So, and it's also, we have a system inside of our system where people can make decisions. So we are working in a unit. I put money, for example, you put your time. You put your car or house, and you put, for example, your intellectual capital, yes? How to manage all this, how to understand that this is your, no, it's like a fair share, you know, system, fair share. How to understand how much we have to give you and to give you. So we have such a prototype of this system, you know, and it was already managed in Soviet Union, in the industry of building the atomic stations, and we are now made it like for small groups also. Давай дальше, Сереж. So what is our mission, we can say? Yes, it's actually pictures from our this festival that we are made in our farm. This is like a sort of camp for the people who come all over the country, 40 persons who are interested in this system. And we're saying that to serve as a guide on the path of entrepreneurs to an equivalent exchange of knowledge and experience, goods, services, and innovate solutions for the formation of an ecosystem of international cooperation of communities as the nodes of the intellectual network of humanity. You see, very strong story. little bit the guys from a communistic country anyway. So so this is like our story that to made this system through all the planets, and to create this natural relationship between the people, because we're thinking we have a system nowadays, it's not natural, it's like it's growing actually, and we have economical crises always because it was constructed like that, you know, this financial system, it's collapsing always. But if you will understand how it works, and we don't want to conquer with them, you know, we don't want to be in struggle with them, we just want to make small story, our small story for the cooperatives and cooperative laws in our country and in the world, they give this opportunity. So like what we're doing, make a planet great again, build a team. So everybody, you are not alone. This is the story. And we are making like a sort of services to the people who want to start their unit, you know, like their even prototype of a cooperative, because cooperative, you know, it's a hard story. I mean, like, because it's a money, it's a responsibility. but we're creating games, sort of games where you can just understand the principles of how it's working. And I think that it could be interesting for you. I mean, like for what you are doing or trying to do, maybe these games for your community. So, and we're doing like international 3 days summits, you know, it's in February 6, 7, and 8 of 25, and it will be like in English. So, and we're invite here the leaders for whom it could be interesting, and we will show the instruments, how it works. So, and the first day, it's like sort of what we're doing. It's a reputation networking. So what it is, it's a deal generator. We are saying, you know, the story that's, it's like a sort of networking, but not you're saying, okay, I'm Mansur, I'm 46 years old and so on. You are presenting yourself as the product. For example, I'm a singer and I could make a concert for you or whatever. You're a counter. We are collecting like a talents. First of all, it's like a sort of presentation. So then we're doing like a sort of fund that we are created together. And these funds start running between us. But in the rules of demurrage, this is the words of Sylvia Gezel, they become smaller, smaller, smaller every 6 minutes for 10%. It's become smaller. So, and immediately people understood what is the, because money, it's abstraction, you know, and you have to show what is the real nature of the money. And this game, it's like a game. In a reality, you're changing your talents. And the most important thing happened in a post-networking. You have to close the deal in a reality. The point is to be fast, not to collect money, to collect talents, you know, something like that. The second, post-networking give you opportunity to connect with these people, you know, without you. These people are connecting to each other, start making these small micro contracts, you know, and from that appear trust. People start, you know, like I'm trusting him because he is a person of the word, as he said, as he doing, the quality of his stories is nice. And second day, so it's like a first day, you know, what we're doing. Of course, post-networking will be later. It could be like months later, you know, but anyway, it works very nice, even if it's in one day. The second step, what we're doing, it's a reputation foresight. So what it is, so we made an instrument, you know, of this strategic session, how to catch the dreams, common dreams of the people. Because, okay, you're talented in this, I'm talented in that. Okay, we know the like base of resources that we have. So what to do next? We have to find common dreams, you know. After the dreams, it will become purposes and aims. It's a next step. But first of all, we have to find the people about what we're speaking. What do you want in Brussels? What do you want in Brugge? I don't know. Maybe it's common things, you know. And we made an instrument, and it's very technical also. So it's like a sort of, you know, we are using Telegram as the messenger. We are making circles, for example. What, when, where, and we have a topic, you know. Everybody is saying, like, everybody has 3 minutes to say, and you have not to interrupt anybody. You couldn't say or bad. You're sitting, you're saying you have your 3 minutes, and then if you have an idea, you have to write it, and you are waiting your turn in a circle. So, and immediately appear document, because like here you see it's appear text, and ChatGPT is taking it and made it at the end of strategic session of our foresight, made a document, the main ideas of all this story, and who the person who give an idea, and when it show when the branch appear, you know, after his idea.
Just a quick question. These circles, they are created around specific topics?
Yeah. No. But the topic is one. For example, creating art cluster in Brussels, for example. And we are invited all the people who are interested in this topic. And inside this group, we are making like abstract questions, not like you are answering for infrastructure, you're for education, you are for marketing. No, we're doing like a what, where, when, for what, you know, like a little bit abstract, because every person have to say. And then the brilliant story of all that, it's not conflict story, you know, how sometimes in strategic sessions, one person is speaking, everybody is calmed down, you know. No, it doesn't work like that. You have your 3 minutes, please tell. If you don't have your 3 minutes, you're saying, I'm past, I'm stopped. Another person can say, you know, and you have document, you know, every voice, every person, you have like a document anyway. And the brilliant thing that you can visit later, other tables, and to listen what other people said as the podcast in Telegram, as the voice message, you know. And it's incredible, because I was in so many strategic sessions where you don't know what was in other tables. Yeah. So, and you have this paper of like a summary of what was there. So it's like a sort of second day, and the third day will be like from each circle, you are choosing one person who is going for main circle. And in the main circle, you do again this story, and you're like summarizing all the ideas of all your foresight, and you're doing this like idea of this community or society, whatever, what you want to do, and it's all sort of like a reflection. So I will tell a little bit. It's that we already created, and it exists as MVP, as digital services. We already created. But what we are trying to do next step, it's a project. The third step, it's when, okay, we know talents, we know that we have the same dreams. Maybe now let's start project. So, and this is the point also. We made it like sort of, we're creating now the service of crowdsourcing, where you can put your talents, whatever you have, money maybe. We have like a 4 type of funds that we can collect. As you said, I said money, your working hours, yes, maybe some material stuff, and some non-material story, like I don't know, idea, intellectual, whatever. So this is the third step, and the fourth step that I told, it's a fair share. This system who help you to work in a project. I mean, like it's a fair. I mean, like people are voting. You know, like it's tricky stories there. It's like we're doing this. Percentage of your participants every week, and it's like a no, every person have to do that, you know, like we have like a 100% of your positive relation to your guys, you know, and you're paying all of them except you. For you are paying 0, yes, and everybody do like that. So, and then we are compared to each other, and it's like very, very simple way of saying how it works, but sort of we're doing like integral something like that. So, and you know, also the fifth part of all the system, we understood that such a type of communications, it's a story about the knowledge. Most of all, it's like a 90% of what people are putting for the table, you know, it's a knowledge or talents or whatever. It's not like I don't know, books or I don't know, hats, you know, what I am producing with my wife, for example. It's a rare things. That is why we understood that we made a sort of platform of self-education, how to give the knowledge from one to another. Nowadays, just like your own call in Zoom or whatever, in WhatsApp, you know, people are calling each other, and we're not making like a sort of courses of the people, what they're doing. But we want to make this, we understood that we need this platform that will collect all this knowledge of that people as the form that you can give it for other people, you know. This is the idea.
Cool.
That's it.
Cool. I have some questions or maybe things. Just a little small thing, as you said. Here you can see our reflections of the communist country that we're coming from. We had on one of our first general assemblies, we had a big blank wall. Really, I think it's 5 meters on I think 8 or 9 meters in height. We decided that during that day, everyone could post or write one word or a small sentence. And we have made. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to send you a picture later on. We could write a small sentence or a word that made us reflect on this day and the day that we launched the cooperative. And somebody wrote communism as a word, but if you look at the word communism, it's the fact communism is the fact of bringing together means and risks and people and so on. So it's here in Belgium and I think in a lot of Western European countries. I think if I can be frank with you, I think we are a little bit afraid of communism or what communism was in the past in Eastern Europe specifically.
It was not communism at all. It was not communism. It was totalitarianism.
Yeah.
The name we have, like it's a wrong word actually.
Yeah, exactly. But the word communism and the principle of communism is really beautiful. It's really it can be really strong. So just as a side note, if you talk about bringing people together and having this exchange between people, and the book that you referred to, we have here the peer-to-peer movement. I don't know if you're familiar with that. We once had a Belgian philosopher, but who is active on a global scale, Michel Bouwens, who worked also with us on this peer-to-peer movement. I can send you
send me a link. It's interesting. Michel Bouwens.
I'm going to send you a link on that. In the past, I don't know if still today he is really active on it, but he really, as a philosopher, worked on and studied on this idea of peer-to-peer and people reinforcing each other and exchange, and using this as an exchange, as a means of exchange, more than we use money today, indeed, because as you said it. Money is used as an exchange, as something to exchange, but it's also something to collect power also, and so on. And so he was really trying to propose an alternative system. I'm going to send you some links on it. And the other thing that popped in my mind, I already said that we have some difficulties to bring together people within a small country. Here in Belgium, and so one of the options for us is indeed to bring them together around specific topics. I think for us the main topic, and that's something that people also say for us, is or the main need maybe that people. The main reason why people collect within our system is the fact that they have the same need. They need a tool to simply declare their working days, let's say, to help them in an administrative way. What are the topics that you use to bring people together? Do you propose topics yourself?
Yeah, we are creating we are organizers, and we are first of all, we discuss with the people, with the community, what will be topic. For example, we made already several of them. First of all, new types of the cities, how it could be,
Okay.
And another one was education system, or how it's creating these camps or whatever, how to make it in a small example, to make this system in for 2 weeks, for example, in a camp. But we are this was the topic.
Do you only bring together experts on the topic, or, for instance, if I'm really
any person who are interested, whatever. And the brilliant thing about this story that we made it online. We could do it online. We could do it, because I never saw that somebody do a strategic sessions online. It's hard. They don't have instruments, how to record, this feeling. We are doing this. And our challenge for the next year to start do it in the international field, because nowadays where really Russia is out of all the processes, but my values is that this anyway, it's one planet. You couldn't, you know, the biggest nuclear country, you couldn't just throw away these guys, you know, with the most clear water, actually, resources, you know, forests. Russia, it's like a, and I'm sure that times will change, and we have to prepare that, you know, like we have to do these links between the nations, and in a new type, not like a state, but like a person of goodwill to the person of goodwill, something like that.
Yeah, sure do hope with you that times will change in the good direction.
If we will change it, you know, Thomas.
Мансур,
We are
Мансур,
not waiting, we are doing. Сереж,
guys,
давай.
смотри, скажи, пожалуйста, Томасу, что мы не делаем большой плакат и большую картину, как на стратсессии, а делаем с очень много маленьких индивидуальных картин, что важнее, расширяя каждую. Вот это вот переведи, пожалуйста.
So it's like, you know, we are not doing big, like a paper, you know, where we are writing what the ideas you have. We are collecting small pictures of every person and give the technology how to make it bigger a little bit. Сереж, может быть, ты покажешь какие-нибудь еще кадры, может быть, he will show how it
как мы
looks
играем, как мы играем.
like a system, how we are playing, for example.
Okay.
How it's, of course, it will be, I think it will translate to English.
Да, ты комментируй, что видишь, и говори, куда
so
нажимать.
So it's like a sort of, every person have his own, like a cabinet, I don't know, his personal page, you know, where he can check, he put his talents, and we have a calendar of the events. So here it is. It's like last year we made like a 12 deal generators, and here we have like all the statistic of how many these deals you made with the people. What is the percentage of how many you close them? Зайди в один из них, Сережка.
А ты разбери сперва цифры, а мы потом зайдем. Вот смотри, фонд там, да. Фонд, количество сделок, количество участников.
For example, you can see here that we have for example, last one that was in 90th December, we every person put 1,000 rubles. It's around $10, and it was running about 30 minutes only, and the amount of the money that we are creating, potential network, it's like a 263,000. So it's like a 26 times more than money was put it, you know, like, because money is running very fast, you know, money, it's only like a hot potato that you are throwing to each other, you know, because it become less. So it's like this is the point of all that story. So it was 10 persons or 13 persons there, and it was 10,000. So from 10,000 we made 230, and you can see all the statistics there. So it connected with the Telegram bot, and it's like a sort of, you can check everybody who is in the system to see what he is contributing here, and what he's doing. Like for example, it's a Serge, what he's doing, YouTube channel.
Звездочки еще, Мансур. Звездочки, reputation.
Yes, and you know, like every person have his reputation story. You know, it's like an Uber. So you are putting after the deal, you are putting, and you can see that we are perfect guys, but already the system is now growing. Now we have some people that doesn't have 500. You know, it become less. So it works like, you know, you can put your emotion. You can say this person is okay, this is not. So you understand how it works. A reputation system.
And just on a practical level, if you want to put this on an international level, that means that you don't have to interact all the time in the same time zone. Just pure practically. You
mean like the game? The game?
Like the
game, it have to be in the one time. You know, it's a prototype. We don't know how it will be in the future. We just started, you know, and maybe it will be, you know, like persons could start their own story, and maybe after it will appear like, I don't know, maybe it will be sort of marketplace of offers of the people. Maybe they will connect it directly to each other. We don't know. Still, we have like now organized events once a month that we're doing this system. But what is our point? Our point is to make the instruments for all the communities, and you have not to be the part of our community. You can just like use our instruments for your community, but you have to know how to use them. So this is our idea. So here you can see that no, you can see what people offer for the system. Mostly it's trainings, it's knowledge, it's sort of whatever, English hours, methodology of something, management, self-management, whatever. So, and here it is like, yeah, you can put what people are giving you or you are giving them, you know, like you can check it through the system and have a look how it works. So for example, the last one you see, and you can see that guys, it's a green, they closed already. Yes, the guys that doesn't, you can see always, it's like sort of ERP system, small ERP system where you can see the points, how you are moving to each other, how the trust will appear between you.
Okay. So
this is
that the community is built around the specific topics, or maybe also around the specific skills.
Yeah, it could be different stories. Nowadays, mostly who are entered for the system, it's entrepreneurs anyway, and people who are making community around him, and for whom is interesting to study our instruments, or who are interested in our own community. We are creating our own community of these collective entrepreneurships, you know, because we are, our mission is to make these instruments, to make it easy way to cooperative. Because, you know, when we are doing this found and deal generator, it was Serge's idea that, guys, this is cooperative in a way, you know, no money, but we changed everything, you know. In a real, I played this game like 10 years on a paper, and I never get this idea that this is a cooperative, actually. He said this, guys, this is cooperative. It's like a virtual cooperative for 1 hour or half an hour. And it's like a best way to change the mind of the people, to play with them, not to explain. You know, it's very hard to feel this, how it is in cooperative. Here you can feel immediately for half an hour, you know, for 1 hour, you understand how it works as the, I will say, philosophy of the cooperation.
Yeah.
Something like that. So here it's, you can see, for example, the guys who have made it a lot of deals. You see the leaders, me and Serge. He made like for 1 year 160 deals. I made it 186, and but well, sort of crazy guys. But you know, someone have to do the things.
We have back там.
Ну, это не важно, это не важно. Вот. So, и, может быть, мы по этому, ну, по этому, какого, по форсайту уже ничего не можем показывать, да, в принципе.
Ну, только страничку, ты все рассказал, я думаю.
Ну, да. So, maybe some questions, ideas, and maybe it's interesting for you.
Yeah, could be. Since I told you, Andy, that we are trying to find out how we can make connections between the people who are linked to Smart. You have to take it to the next couple of years. I don't know how we're going to do it, but next couple of years we have to take it to the next level in the sense that we have now quite a lot of people who are working via our systems, and I think we don't how to put it, we don't use enough the potential that is within the community. We don't create enough the sense of community among our members. We don't use the potential enough, because there would be a lot of potential for them also individually, because if they can work together with other people, they can maybe sign up for bigger assignments and so on. So it's really in their proper interest also. And I'll sure pass this idea on to our colleagues who are working on the cooperative life, as we call it here in Brussels, who are working really on this community building aspects and so on, because we have the real life community building aspects, but we sure have to exploit all potential and possibilities also to work on this in the virtual world, let's say. It would be stupid not to use the technologies of today, to create a community. So
Yeah, it's sort of like through the games you are making real stuff. You know, this is the story. This is not lections. We understood that lections doesn't work. I mean, it works, but when with super motivated persons, you know, when they just want to know that. But when you're starting playing with the children, you know, you have to play. You have not, you know, we are not explaining a lot. Let's play, guys. Let's play. And after the game, reflections. And you understand it how it works. This was my point as I'm owner of the camps, you know, working a lot with the children and English camp. This is my business actually that I'm doing all the year round, mostly in a vacation time. But
okay,
game
make it fun.
it would be fun. It's boring. Cooperation is not boring story.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people, and that was something that I found out also while with paper, don't know exactly what the cooperative means, what it can mean for them, what the different organs and working groups and so on do within the cooperative. They think often that, for instance, the General Assembly is a dull thing or whatever, but most of the time it's not. So they can. I think we really have to show the fun factor in the way that we try to work with it.
Yeah, because you know what is the point of ours also, you know, it's not possible to be happy alone.
No.
This is it. Yeah. And the life is a game, you know, we understand the line because art is the game also, you know, dancing is the game, music is the game anyway, you know, because it have not the last moments of the song, it's not like a most important thing, you know. Every moment of the song is important, like in the game. The aim of the game is game by itself, you know. And the life is the same story. This is the philosophy, actually.
It's a nice one indeed. It is indeed easier to be happy when you're in good company. Let's say.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it. Yeah, and you know, and of course, cooperative is also a story that one person and another person. It's not like one person. No, together you are. Not 2, you are 11. Start of this, you know, story. And for example, our example with the Sergey, you know, we made it by ourselves, you know, for 1 year, for 1 year and a half, actually, all the system, you know, with that we put our money, our time, and but we already have a result, like more than 20 persons now in this group, and this is very nice, very interesting, high motivated people with the right ideas. You know, this is really what I'm trying to create, this society, not abstract way, but in a reality, you know.
Reality. Yeah. Nice.
I will send you our presentation. I will send you a link for YouTube of this video. If you will have a possibility, maybe for someone in your community will be interesting this. And everybody are welcome for this event in February, if it's interesting, to try these technologies, like to play in these technologies. We especially made it in English. And I invited the guys from Cooperative also who played these games. Actually, we made a table game there in Delhi, you know, and it was nice. All the guys understood very easy. I mean, this like no problem. Here it's like a digital version. So you're welcome.
That's cool. Send me some links indeed, and I'll check if someone is available. Maybe me or another colleague is available in the beginning of February, and then we'll see from there. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas, a lot. It's a pleasure for us. You're big guys, like 40,000, you know. But anyway, we have something also interesting. Maybe it will be useful.
Sure. Okay, cool. It's perfect for on behalf of timing also. So yeah, let's share some links. Yeah. I wish you the best also for the next coming days, the end of the year.
Yeah, and a happy Christmas, actually. And as we say, let's make a planet great again.
Yes, let's do it together. Good idea.
Build the team. Join the game.
Okay.
Join the game. Okay, thank you very much, Thomas.
Have a safe end of the year, and see you soon then.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Good afternoon.